Yeah, so I asked of you to participate and showcase or send to me examples of, or to us, examples of when you've used the storytelling. We've been working quite a lot with it after our workshop with Kenneth, and I think we've done a great job to implement the tool into the project, but we would like to continue that, of course, but now maybe not talking so much about the method and tool, but maybe more on how we used it, and also when we come to the communication plan, and also the strategies and action plans that we are going to work with more closely with in the future now, we will use that as a tool. But Louvigné, the Désert, and Guillaume sent me these great examples, and he had 2 workshops. They are connected, and they work with the legacy of the granite culture. And they did this to create intergenerational links, connections, and highlight the role and importance of the past in local identity, which of course is a very good context to use storytelling in. And yes, I just want to say that if anybody would like to contribute, just jump into the presentation. So what format they used was the exhibition, workshops, and concert. And I would say that using different formats often gives it a more, it's easier to work it in even more closer or into the, I think it's more effective way if you use different formats, of course, and then you connect them. The target or the audience was like local stakeholders and citizens. So looking into our multi-helix, they are working on reaching out to particular groups in the multi-helix sectors. See what? So the first example was this super lovely picture where they had a meeting and a workshop with the residents and departmental archives based around documents to revive the memory and encourage discussions about life in the quarries in the past, which also a good way of using documents that you have. I think we all have them stored, but they are very much just laying there. But this is a very good way of also making these elder people feel importance and connect them to the youngers, as they were saying. So the document served as a basis for the discussions. And then they did a workshop with a musician and a sound engineer, and they discussed these memories, and some moments were recorded. And following this session, they organized a concert where numerous excerpts from the collected testimonies were included in the songs or into titles. And as he is stating, the performance or restitution concert was a lovely intergenerational success on a beautiful spring Sunday. And I think this is a great example when you use, as I was saying, different formats, and that way makes you reach out to new people who might not have before connected to the hub, and also presenting it in a bit unusual way. So I think you are more tentative to receiving the emotions that might come with this. And also I think it's a lot of warmth and communal sense of it. And just sitting around like this is just a lovely moment where I think they really bring cohesion to the place and to the people. So that is the information I got from Guillaume, and would you like to share something about your reflections, or what a great idea this was, or do you have anything similar that you've seen or done? Please share with us.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, Kenneth.
Yeah. No, this is absolutely wonderful to see. And I remember in Saint-Omer, and this was a different part of northern France where they talked about also having testimonies from residents about the place and stuff. And so I think this is really nice to see, and it's kind of this idea of storytelling is very connected to memory, history, and stuff, and it has to be kind of be grounded in a history of a place and a history of a community in this. So I think this is a very good way of revitalizing the um, what's the community all about and how does it connect to the community. So and community cohesion is also about connecting to the past and these things. It's very important to, if you're making futures, that you also connect it back to the past.
Yeah, I know. We talk a lot about using mötesplatser, meeting already arenas or forums or meeting places that are already existing, and also networks that are already existing. But I also think this is a way of using material like the archives that are there to meet around that kind of focus or that theme, or that is also a very effective way, actually. And I guess this is a very good thing. When I think we are supposed to use maybe storytelling also in the end when we tell our story about our project, and I'm thinking this is a very good input into that story later.
Yeah.
So
Alice, I want something.
Yes, sorry.
Ali and me have
great.
wanted to say to contribute something.
Yes.
Only a quick remark. If you move to the slide where the people are sitting around the table, there is another interesting connection. One before? Yeah, that one. Do you notice that book on the table? That is a book Guillaume introduced to us about in fact, the company that is behind the granite extraction, which was a cooperative called L'Avenir, which is very poetic, like in the future, no? Or what is to come. And that is an interesting connection in terms of the focus in the region to develop social economy and to wanting to have an incubator focused on social economy in Louvigné, as that was, let's say, worker-owned and driven company. No? And it's something we can maybe play around with, no? In the in the best practice example, if we want to write that down, because it is obviously relevant for some kind of sustainable development or a transformation towards sustainability, that maybe the principle of worker-owned from an extractive company is maybe now implemented in other areas that are less. I mean, the same idea, like owned, controlled by people who live in the area and not by a company from abroad or an international or transnational corporation. And the idea of maybe focusing on other more social and ecological topics. What did you want to say, Arne?
Well, first of all, this is great. I'm quite stunned actually that such a great best practice just pops up like that. I didn't hear anything about this before, to be quite honest, and I think this also reflects some of the other voices in the chat room. I do really like the usage of different mediums. That's what I thought. So we have archives, we have musics, we have verbal testimonies. That's that's an aspect to it that I really like. I just wanted to say that. And I do have a bit of a question maybe on the intergenerational aspect of things. Because this is always something rather tricky to set in motion. So, Charlotte, I don't know if you have any further information on this, but I would be very curious to learn how if there was like some sort of intergenerational dialogue set up in some way and how they did it.
Yeah, maybe we could ask Guillaume that. I don't know more than I read here, actually.
Yeah.
But I was just looking at this picture to see, as you're saying, it is a bit tricky, both in dialogue, but also to have them come and receive this. Well, it's not. It is a bit mixed here. It is. If we look at the audience. And also, often one would have to think that you need to do this it's a slow process, maybe. Like maybe it's hard to get a booming effect in one event, but maybe working it up slowly, like making people understand that, okay, this is also for my generation or for me or my family or so. But I agree with you with the different mediums, and that was sort of what I was trying to say before, but not as eloquently as you. But that I think I think the message and the feelings that you want to send out is much more easy to connect with or sense if you use different mediums, because communication is often a repetitive process that needs to be done in a repetitive mode, and doing it in different mediums means you sometimes hit people who are able to receive in different mediums. So, and also the repetition is more efficient. So I think it's a very good, and I think we should maybe have that in mind when we do our own storytelling or all our communication, actually. So just working in social media, for instance, is of course maybe not the most efficient way. And I think these meeting places that we're talking about and making events that are 3D and relation based and so on is very important for creating cohesion, and the social media is maybe much less effective here. Meetings and physical meetings, or portraying the stories, if it is in written or in social media, needs to have a lot of story ingredients to make it work on this cohesion topic.
Kenneth?
I was thinking about that this is these intergenerational these memories arriving. The memories are parts of this, the deeper stories that kind of run in the community. And so there is a long-term effect rather than an immediate effect, I would guess, about being conscious of who are we, where are we, and what are the stories that kind of run through the community, which are not always told, but are still living within the community. I think that kind of historical sense, the attitude, is quite important for this. We talked about hobbies before. My hobby is to read a lot. So, or one of my hobbies is to read a lot, and it's definitely not necessarily the usual business books that I read. I read a lot of funny stuff. And one book that I've been reading is called Our Grateful Dead. And it's actually about a philosophy of life where you talk about how you're kind of to welcome and respond to requests from earlier generations, earlier figures in history. So the dead are still with us now. These people are not dead, but it's kind of the same idea of going back into the past. And if we imagine that if we're going to continue life in Sotenäs or in northern France, or in Skagen, who are the characters from history? What kind of life is it that we want to continue and revitalize? That's actually what we take from this.
Great.
Yeah, my thought was also that there are quite a lot of links to what we have learned they are doing in Stenvad. So again, I see many possible connections between Louvigné and Stenvad on this level. They have kind of the same approach, trying to use the story about the peat production as something to build local identity, not only intergenerational, but also towards newcomers in the area, how to use the history to build some kind of local pride. And again, it's also based on more on extraction. So there's also this double-sidedness towards sustainability. So it's interesting. I see many links there. So we need to remind both parties that they are very welcome to cooperate with each other.
Maybe we should put them two together in the workshop then.
Yeah.
Because they are probably sometimes it's easier to come up with ideas for your neighbors than yourself, but then they have the same mindset and they probably can use the same thing that they discover for the neighbors. They might understand that, oh, I could use this myself. Yeah. Anyway, so should we move on to the second example, which is Sotenäs? Actually, we do have some more reflection from Guillaume, and I just copied his text here, and it's a bit what we've talked about, but I think he felt that it was a very useful and effective method. And also, like you were saying, also it's also a collaboration between different institutes, one could say, in Louvigné. So collaboration. Forged a partnership with the departmental level stakeholder. So it's often sometimes I feel that it's just talk. Some people you can just talk and you hit it off and you get these ideas and you understand what to do, but sometimes you need to really show them for them to understand, oh, I can connect to this one, and then they understand how to collaborate. I'll move on to Sotenäs then. So we do have this light festival. I think this year was the 6th time, and it's Emma, please step in if you have anything to add. But this is a very strong ambassador and also champion of our society. She has been this drive force together with a lot of local volunteers to make this happen every year, and it's a great effort for her, and she's exhausted every time, both mentally and physically. I think it's a huge effort from her side and all the volunteers. This year, SIRR was very much part of it, helping her. I'm not sure if she would have coped otherwise. So she got a lot of help from us both in that she could take part of the project, and also we added on a lot of resources to it, both in marketing, but also in the structure and in the project management sort of, and also we added the local cohesion, and we rallied for trying to add the locals private business to add into this effort and make it a bigger thing that it used to be. And this time they decided to do it 10 days instead of 3 days, which turned out to be a great success, both for the local businesses and also for the visitors, and it had a good effect. But of course it was very exhausting for all the volunteers, and it really needs a new take, and we are looking into that. But we also decided, because of SIRR, that we wanted to be part of the actual art installations or the art pieces. It's already a very it's very connected to the place already, although it is all international or national artists. So nobody's from Sotenäs. I'm not sure if there's ever been any from like western of Sweden. But anyway, this year we decided maybe we could have an art piece that is actually Sotenäs, that could portray something with the culture and do a piece of our storytelling. And Dulce, the art director and the innovator and the champion behind this, she was not very she acted very fast, and she did this version with a fishing boat that is lit up, and it's also an installation. So there was it's not all the time, but it was supposed to come 1 or 2 times every night. So the story was the legacy of the fishing culture in Sotenäs, and to make it has a lot of both international but national visitors. We would like more locals to come to the festivals, but also like them to feel that this is part of their place. So we are trying to connect the whole festival with the place. And so that's why we did the storytelling version. And as I'm written there, that to give the Sotenäs ownership of the festival and induce sense of local pride through local history and the legacy of the fishing culture. And so yes, it's a light art installation, and the people we wanted to target was mostly the Sotenäsborna, but also of course the visitors to the festival. There was actually a very nice poem that was collaborated together by our 2 communicators, but I think it's very beautiful. And we added this to the sign of the installation, and I will try to read it actually. By our harbor. Our small coastal communities are characterized by the sea, the rugged granite, and the salty winds. For a long time, herring and other catches have sustained fisheries and industries, and to this day, our region is still characterized by innovative entrepreneurs who refine what the sea provides, all in a unique spirit of jointly driving development forward. The symbiosis, our symbiosis. The legacy of fishing, boat builders and craftsmen lingers in the air. Our culture, both serene and vibrant, is shaped by waves and cliffs, created by hands that have long lived in rhythm with the story of the ocean. Our story. We share it with pride in our harbor. This is where we dock. And so I will show you a little film clip from the actual installation. It's not the best quality, and I'm going to move over to YouTube, but I hope this will work now.
It will. Let's be confident.
So, are you showing the video now, Charlotte?
Don't you see it?
You
Nope,
have to change your screen.
Oh,
Yeah, I
sorry,
think
sorry.
maybe
Oh.
you shared it. Yeah, exactly. Maybe you shared the PowerPoint presentation.
Too bad. It was such a nice moment. I'll try again.
And also make sure when you share your screen that you include the sound if there is any.
We'll start from the beginning again. We have time,
Don't
so.
worry.
Let's see. Okay, so make sure I include the video. How do I do that, to me? Or should I just
the
try?
sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just try. I think it's
Let's see if this works. Do you hear the sound?
No, I think when you share a screen, it's like up to the right. It says include sound. If you stop sharing your screen, and then when you check dela, like share, then it's like include sound up to the right.
But it doesn't ask me anything.
Du ser längst upp till höger, dela innehåll, står det inkludera ljud. Längst upp när du trycker på dela.
Men det säger bara dela innehåll. Det säger inte inkludera ljud.
Ännu mer till höger där.
Ser du min skärm nu?
Jo.
Nej. Ännu mer till höger. Fler åtgärder kanske.
Jag kan ta en screenshot. Weird. I will take a screenshot. Sorry for some Swedish. There. I will send it in the chat.
Yeah, because it gives me no alternative. It just tells me to share. Or is it?
Sharing
Yeah,
chat,
now I see it. I see it. Great.
Yeah, great.
Okay, hang on. And there. And there. And. All right?
Yep.
So, I think it's very beautiful. We had this in the lobby of the municipality as well, going on a screen. When I came in, I felt a really atmosphere and ambience. I'm not sure everybody saw it, but I thought it was a great thing just looping there in the lobby. And I'm going to share again the PowerPoint. Okay, there you go. Nej! I'm sorry.
What?
And then I'm going to stop the video. So, do you see now the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes, great. So, Emma, I did not write any reflection. Would you like to add anything to this?
Yeah, you described it very, very well. And I can just also highlight that this Light Festival, I think they had almost 10,000 visitors. And that's like more visitors than we have like inhabitants in the municipality. So this is a really good way to tell a story and also to create this cohesion around. And also why we wanted to do it is because it was both like the storytelling part about culture and the traditional or tradition in Sweden, but it was also to create like co-creation around an event. So we had, as Charlotte explained, like the storytelling was like one part, and the second part was that we tried to engage other businesses and local associations to organize other events connected to the event. So the event, Charlotte mentioned when back to Guillaume's presentation, to find this already existing networks or platforms or meeting places, and we wanted to see like the event as a already existing platform. We could make a lot of win-win situations coming out from. So within SIRR we had meetings with an open invitation for associations or different multi-helix actors and businesses to try to find these win-win situations, like what else can we do when we have so many visitors coming to Sotenäs, and what can we do together to get better benefits for all of us, all the actors, but also for the place, because it's also about to, yeah, it's like to set a pin on the map for Sotenäs. But reflections, I thought it was like really successful, even though it was a little bit sad that it was 10 days, but like the last weekend it was really shitty weather, so the boat couldn't go out. So that was a little bit sad, but I'm really happy that we also catched it on a video or a movie that we can use like now afterwards. And then we just maybe have to reflect and think about how we can get more out of this art, also when the festival is not up. But also now coming up, we have organized or will have meetings with the, it was like the association or the project manager of the event to reflect on, okay, what was like the actual outcome, both for the place Sotenäs and also for all the actors involved in this co-creation kind of thing around an event, and also see what we can do connected to other events, like what learnings can we take with us from organizing this to other things going on in Sotenäs. But yeah, I think it was a really cool way to showcase or to show up or to show or gather around the culture connected to a light art festival. And I can also mention that we actually had 2 other art installations connected to the hub. It was 2 artists that also created art from the Marine Recycling Center. So they used the old fishing gear in some installations that were also like really cool. And some of the artists also had a workshop with a local school. So young or youth was like a part of creating the art installation. So it was also something Dulce, like the project manager, she already have like good connections, but we also try to see, okay, can we do something more, you know, to also engage more local actors in this event, so it really contributes a lot to the local cohesion as well.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. I think you mentioned a lot of the most important aspects, and also how we made us think about how we can work with volunteers, talking about the cohesion and the local empowerment and the sense of community, that this is a very good opportunity to man up and feel like we do this together. And they both, the thing that we invested so much in the festival made the people who have struggling a lot with this before felt that we had their back, and it was important. We were important for them, and they expressed really multiple times how not from us asking them, but from them themselves, that they felt so much support, and they really felt the connection and the empowerment and the cohesion, the artist and the other actors working with this arrangement. But also now at one of the follow-up meetings, how the local businesses said that they really appreciated that the municipality came in this visual and strong way, because they felt that then they also had the energy to continue. Otherwise, they would probably not have the energy. So I think we actually came in the 10th hour, or how do you say, in the last minute, for them to actually, and also with this huge effort to add more days to it. And there was also one thing, talking about storytelling and these art pieces with material from the Marine Recycling Center, and also working with kids, how we use, and Dulce a lot does, not only with us, but with more, and also having these art pieces moving around the world and doing workshops with children with marine waste, is using the art to make awareness of the issue with marine litter. And that is also some kind of storytelling. And we really are trying to work with that more, with understanding the how much impact it has when we use art as a forum for making awareness. So we don't only use like theoretical books. We also had this amazing moment, me and the guy at the Stefan, who works at the Marine Recycling Center. We were picking together things for the West Sea Week, and the mom with her 6-year-old son came up to the Marine Center and said that, oh, could we hand in this ghost gear? And we were like, we were thinking no, but then we said, of course, yes. And then because then they showed us this book that said, but because in this book that they had bought at in Lysekil at Havets Hus, the marine center they have, it said that Marine Recycling Center accepted ghost gear, and it was a children's book for how that you can collect and help and with the ghost gear. And that was also such a nice moment, and how this book has helped with the marine litter issue. But working in stories and different forums to convey and reach out with the message that you want to convey, to portray, or move on with. We also have another. Well, anybody, any reflection from you guys? Kenneth?
Well, actually, yeah, because you capture in the last, the art form, the aesthetics. This is really what storytelling is all about, and you can make these events to reach out to people, almost allowing the place to communicate certain things and so the place is reaching out to the event that the artists have put together. So it's really nice to integrate this into your work. So I loved the presentation. Some of the things that I'm sitting with now, because we're beginning to write this book, and I'm going to have a meeting with Arne and Alistair in a short while. They haven't been invited yet. We have been talking about that, but I begin to wonder and reflect upon how to put these things together. And one of the things that I was actually thinking about, because Michael is sitting there in the hub. What is it? This B business hub that you also have, but it can be interesting also to kind of put this hub and combine it a little bit with all these small artifacts that we've been using and art in this way, so they're kind of situated in the same room, if you can imagine that kind of entrepreneurial activity taking place. So we actually bring the art and the entrepreneurship directly together through this method of material storytelling or something. That could be one idea that I've been thinking about. Could be fun to work with.
I would just say that would be great, because we did actually discuss how to make a business model lab into a playroom instead. So
yeah,
yeah.
Theresia, are you there?
I'm here. It was a beautiful presentation, and my thoughts went to when we visited Guillaume and the drum, when we had these the drummer who also made art, and it was the same feeling. You know, it's both visual and the music. It really was. You felt it. You felt the story, and it was beautiful.
That's true. You feel the story. That's true. Yeah. So I was thinking that we could all reflect on what happens when you use a little bit unconventional formats to let's see, I'm just going to try to move this. When you communicate, not use the usual formats. And how can this be applied at your hub, depending on who you want to talk to and what you would like to say to them. But for us, it was collaboration. And for Guillaume, it was collaboration. So I think it's very good and easy to reach out if you collaborate with those other actors with both a platform and maybe another story or another input that you can use. Alistair?
I can start if you want.
Yeah.
Sorry, my back is aching, so I've got a machine going on here. Okay. Well, my thoughts go in the direction of how do I say? Attaching the momentum that can be released by this storytelling communication, to attach that to the hub, right? How to I think that let's start at a different point. The big challenge can be that having the hub as an organization that wants to promote sustainable local regional development and the transformation, that is something so wide, so challenging, so complex, so difficult, that somehow for me the interesting bit about the storytelling is, how do you communicate something so complex and so many fronts? Obviously you will pick out some fronts because you can't do everything at the same time, but how do you communicate that in a simple way so people understand that the hub is doing something positive for the territory, and that they should put themselves behind it, that they should support that. They don't have to spend. They could do that in different ways. The most sophisticated way would be to say, we attract these people, organizations, to collaborate with the hub, right? But other people, Theresia has talked about the phenomenon in Désert, like, we want to build trust with people, with the normal citizen, so they regain a relationship with the administration, which has been suffering, let's say, an image problematic, or etc. No, so from something very basic like my stance towards the hub or whoever is behind the hub is positive, to this is my opportunity to go there, share my idea, find other people, and put something forward for the territory, for sustainability. That's one of the, let's say, main results, in my opinion, from this way of communicating. Storytelling to reduce complexity, motivate people to do something together with the hub, inside the hub, collaborating with the hub for the territory. And then there's an interesting add-on on this thing, something that hangs or is in my head from different seminars and trainings about change management, and that is that people in organizations are mostly interested in knowing what is not going to change in order to accept change. All right. They need like 70% information about, like, that's not changing, your desk is at the same position, your computer will be the same color, your boss is going to be this. They need that in order to say, oh, but we're changing our premises or something like that. No? So the interesting bit about this storytelling that looks in the past and finds out common heritage goods and let's say stories, is that puts forward the idea that a lot is not so really changing, or that change is embedded in something that is going to stay constant. No, we are changing, but we still have this heritage of the granite or of the sea. No, and that gives people the security, or it allows them to accept a little bit more of change, maybe, if they frame that in a way that their heritage, what they have worked for, what they mean, is still, it still has a meaning. It has continuity somehow. It's going to be different, but it has some kind of continuity, and that is. I'll stop with this last example. For example, there's a lot of let's say conservative backlash gimmicks and gags are, for example, in the German context, placing the idea that people are not going to be able to grill their sausages at weekend because the vegan mob is coming to find them, and they won't be able to drive their old Volkswagen Golf because the sustainability standards are not. No? And that is a super mobilizer for this reactive, I don't want to change stuff, I'm against any kind of progress. And that is something that you can bridge, you can short circuit that if you tell people like, no, this is not going to change. Your life is still going to be quite okay, or it's even going to be better with less or with different things. No? Okay, that was my speech in the morning. Sorry.
Very good. Three different inputs that are very important. And I would like to say to the first one that could you write that down, because that was a very, very good thing to add into the joint strategy on why we use storytelling. The reducing of the complexity that you spoke of, that was excellent. And to the second thing where you talked about or what I transferred into what I was thinking about this morning, like why do we talk about history, and why would you like to include that in future transformation? And for me, it just stayed on the level of like we need the connection to feel comfort and safe. And
absolutely.
So I think that correlates with
exactly
what you were saying.
It's exactly that. Yeah.
But also, like where you begin with Theresia, like they have all this problem with people have with the trust, and also we, of course, like everybody, when you want change, there's a auto reaction about no change. But if you have a rhetoric where you start with this is not changing, this is we are keeping like if the politicians or if the ones who are talking about the communication about it is also about the stability and the safe parts, maybe it's easier to accept. But of course it can't be in the same way, it can't be in the same sentence. It needs to be that in a broad sense that you communicate all the way, like so that's how you gain the trust, maybe. Kenneth
is.
I was thinking when you use storytelling in this manner, what you actually do is to open a space for participation. That is one important part of it, because that's the control and the safety. People need to feel that they're still that they participate in, in future making. It's still like about change. A second part is that it's about inspiring them, that we use stories to kind of inspire them. To participate also on their own terms, you can say, but also we're not telling them what to do, but we are creating some kind of inspiration so they can kind of create their own ideas, and then we can help them also in different ways with our models and stuff. But I think both the participation and the inspiration is an important part of this. And then there's this idea of the newcomer. One of you talked about the newcomer. what kind of life do we want to create for the newcomer? So that also implies that there will be a change, but at the same time, it has to be grounded in history. We cannot sever the connections to the history that we are part of, because otherwise we lose our identity. But our identities are not like fixed or static or something. They actually allow for a lot of revitalization and change if we work with them in a good manner.
Yes. So we have 10 more minutes, I think, and 9 minutes. So there is this communication plan coming up, workshop. We are calling it communication plan, but we do have to deliver action plans, one per each hub, and also a joint strategy. And communication, storytelling communication is part of reaching out to the stakeholders and reaching out. So although we won't do a communication plan as a document, but we will work with it and integrate that into the action plan. So this workshop, we will work with hub identity, who we are and how we want to be conveyed, and the value proposition. What do we offer, or what would we like to, or even what is it we need to offer? Like we've been looking at this, what is it that this innovation system or the system around us needs, or whatever organ you feel you are a part of. So those are the two main parts that we will work on the workshop, and those will also then be part of a bigger canvas that we will do in the spring when we connect it all into a bigger
context, web.
Yeah. And so, but it's too big to work on in this canvas with your whole business, with the whole organization, how you work with all your different parts and pieces of puzzles of your organization is too big to do in one session. So we will do it in different parts during the year, coming year. And so we will start with the hub identity and the value proposition, because they are really very much the core, and that you work out from later. So when we do this hub identity, I was thinking we are going to use storytelling to understand, and how we will, like the short text on how we will communicate about ourselves, we will use storytelling as a tool how to produce that text, and also what we offer. And so it's important and very good if you could bring more people than just the regular. So for our case in Sotenäs, it would be great as many as possible of our department can be part, because we are to work on what we have already started, but our hub identity, our value proposition, and that could not only be me and Emma, but it needs to be as many as possible from organization who feels that they are part of the ownership of this hub identity. So I would ask you to bring more people to this workshop on the 21st of November, and you don't have to sit in the same room. We could arrange so you could be put into different breakout rooms. If they only have an hour, you could include them within a digital meeting. And I would also like you, we will of course send this out, to read up on the survey that VP3 has done, where you could see the gaps on how you yourself see yourself, and also how stakeholder has stated that they see you. So to understand, as I said before, the value proposition and the hub identity, what do you need to get, like, it's not only what you think, you also take into account what you need to be, and how you are supposed to not supposed to, sorry. Well, we have to take in how the stakeholder sees as you, so we understand how to change the way we talk and change the way we portray ourselves to make them understand what we can offer them, and also understand their needs. So that's why it's important to understand and look up the survey that has been done. And I would also like you to bring examples of how your hub is currently described or communicated, so that you know where you are now. And then we will look, of course, on where we would like to be and how to get there. And of course, we will also send this out to all of you, also those who are not part of this meeting. Yeah, that's what I would like to say in a very scattered. I'm not sure. Maybe I think my brain is very Swedish today. It's Friday. I started this weekend a little bit too early. Maybe you could help me if I've been unclear, Emma and Alistair and Michael.
Maybe also remind people that we did have a hub identity workshop, so maybe some of the material back then would be interesting to brush up on.
Absolutely. Oh, I forgot to, I thought about it, but I forgot to put it down here in the slide. Thank you, Michael. Of course, that was like the first step. So that should, of course, be included in the preparation. Jens?
I have a question to Arne and Alistair. When we was visiting you, we had a meeting with a farmer in a farmer organization. And it was a very, very interesting place. Yeah. Because one place, it was innovation. Second place, he also took care of disabled young people. And I haven't heard anything from him since, because I could see that it was a very interesting way. I have never seen a farmer do that, I'll say that. And he has got this very big machinery, somebody have helped him, or he could do it himself. And we saw the machinery. And you have not been talking about him since. Why? It was an interesting place.
That's a good point, Alistair.
I have a
do you have anything to say on that? I mean, I can only, yeah. Do you?
Yeah, I suppose the background or the reason why this organization hasn't been on the radar anymore is because it was part of Karl Martin's agenda, a field trip agenda, and let's say it's more the practical activities carried out by Trendy are not really focusing on them. No, they're we went there because it was an interesting thing to see, and Karl Martin had it kind of. He knows them because they're on the board of the local action group. So they have a relationship on that way. But
that's right. That relationship, it's primarily tied to Karl Martin and not necessarily to Trendy. We have them on our radar, but we are not cooperating as much with them on a practical level. So there is no regular communication or collaboration between what we do and what they do.
Okay. I saw them as a group who was very interested. Interesting, actually.
Definitely, yeah.
But maybe you could talk with Karl Martin about what's happening out there, because it looked like they was doing something very interesting.
It is. I mean, it is very interesting. I've been there like a couple of times already, and I'm very impressed about what they do each time. It might be something that we could also look at from an entrepreneurship perspective, and think about ideas of collaboration in the future. Yeah.
So Emma, would you like to have the last sentence or?
Yeah, and firstly, Charlotte, thank you very much for organizing this session. And it's so great to see like these examples of storytelling based on the hubs. And I'm sure that there are more of them out there. So it's really great to collect some of them and also to change within the partnership. So very well organized. And I also want to mention, because now we have Clementine here, that we also touched upon before the Two Voices project you had there. maybe we don't have time to talk about it today, but maybe that could be also something to highlight a little bit or talk more about later. I got really inspired by the Two Voices project you had, also connecting stories to places and to developing the society based on like the land you have. So it was great also that you could join the meeting, Clementine, today, and maybe, I don't know, if we maybe could hear a little bit more about the Two Voices project coming up. But really good discussions, and great that you could join also, Kenneth. But yeah, good, Clementine. Yeah, thanks.
Great.
Are you still working with the Two Voices project? Just a quick response. The Two Voices, are you still doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe for the next session we can talk a bit with Clemens to present it. It could be.
I'm thinking maybe could that be a part of the introduction in the communication plan workshop, because it's quite a few hours. Maybe we could use that as it's not exactly part of the hub identity or value proposition, but it's still, maybe it's a good example. Either that or we pick it up later. But I think if you are willing to do it now, we'll do it, because I think it's something that we all need to hear. So Emma, do you think we should try to include that?
Maybe we can take it on the next session. That would be great.
Yeah.
So Clementine also has some time to maybe prepare or check some things up. But it would be really great to hear a little bit more about it.
Yeah, you mean on the communication workshop?
Yeah, either that or an upcoming presentation or talk, or whenever it fits best when we have time. Yeah, but I really appreciated this session and the exchange. It was really good, well organized, Charlotte.
Yeah, thank you
Yes,
very
it
much.
was.
Oh, good. Thank you all for participating. We weren't that many, but I think we can all use this in our coming work with SIRR, and I'm sure we will have the possibility to come back to it. And also we will make sure to tell Guillaume how important it was that he sent us this material, because it gave me a lot of nice input, and also a warmth and a feeling that the project is really doing good out there, and that we all starting to implement the work we do.
Good inspiration.
Great.